We'll have the references for you up on the screen, but the verses won't actually be up, and so just be prepared for that. We like to remind you of that occasionally. We're going to start in Psalm chapter 34, verses 4 through 5, and then we'll touch on verse 8. I'll give you a chance to turn to there. And what we're talking about is some very common spiritual disciplines. And discipline, I want to make it very clear from the get-go here. Spiritual disciplines are incredibly good. They're incredibly valuable. And even if you get frustrated with how deep you can go in just the simple task of going to the spiritual disciplines that we'll reference here in a second, remember that the point is to connect with Jesus. I still had an experience with Jesus when I was when I was snorkeling. I just wanted a deeper one, right? So it's still a good thing. But if it's properly motivated, it's like putting on scuba gear, and you can see the disciplines come out of your life like fruit, not things that you are working at to get, not a task to be checked off, okay? And so that's ultimately where we're going. And so this is what the life of a deep person can feel like. And we're going to read about it here in Psalm 34. We're starting in verses 4 and 5. I sought the Lord. Okay, so that's a spiritual discipline. I'm going to seek the Lord. And he answered me. Listen to everything that the Lord does. He answered me and delivered me from all my fears. Okay, so a deep person is not a fearful person. Those who look on him are radiant. They radiate with the love of Christ, and their faces shall never be ashamed. They have no shame. Go down to verse 8. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Just joy in the Lord for the sake of being joyful in the Lord, right? Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. This person is ultimately having an incredibly deep experience of the love of God, okay? And so where we normally go when we talk about wanting to get deeper in our relationship with God are three things in particular. Normally, you'll be encouraged to have a more consistent time in the Word, a devotion time in the Word. And the problem with that is that our devotions life, sometimes we know it's hard to be consistent sometimes. Life is busy, and so we want to have it consistently. We know in our hearts, in our heads, in our minds that we want a deeper relationship with Jesus, but that consistency of a devotion is difficult to grasp. It seems like it slips through our fingers sometimes. Just a little bit of discouragement, and we give up, or we just put it off for another time. The second place we go is prayer. We want to have a richer prayer life. That maybe we don't know how to pray, or we think we have a better prayer life than we do. We had a prayer conference a while ago, a number of years ago, and one of the speakers there, I never forgot it, he said that he signed up for a 24-hour prayer thing at their church where they were going to pray for a full 24 hours, and he got really inspired, and he said, I'm going to take the 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock in the morning section, and I'm going to pray for that hour. And so every person signed up for an hour block. He got the 2 to 3. He came at 2 o'clock to his church, drank a cup of coffee, wiped his eyes, and tapped the person on the shoulder. They left to go back to bed, and he sat down to pray, and he said he prayed for every single person that he knew. He thought of anybody he had ever met, and he prayed specifically for them. He prayed all the way around the globe. And by the time he was done praying, he was like, okay, surely we're getting close to this hour-long prayer set being over. And he looked at his watch, and it had only been about 5 minutes, right? And so I resonate with that. Sometimes I pray right around the world, and man, I thought I was really, going deeper here. And I want that rich prayer life. I want to be a person who can enter a state of prayer where it's me and Jesus and we're hanging out for a long time. I want that, and I want the discipline of it, but I also want the benefits of it as well. And then finally, church attendance. Just show up or get involved in some level to a deeper degree of the church. But some people wonder, well, where do I really fit in at church? We had 2 years of COVID where it was kind of okay to do church at home. So why don't we just continue to do that? Or do I come here to be served? Do I come here to serve? Do I come here to connect with God, or do I come here to connect with God's people? And how much of this is just a cultural thing? Is there really more to it? I mean, people have a lot of questions and a lot of different motives about why they come to church.